Hello and welcome again to E.M.A.N. Effectively Making a Noise. Today's story is going to be Joseph is made ruler of Egypt. Joseph is made ruler of Egypt, and it's coming from Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 through 57. After Joseph had been in prison for 2 years, an event took place which, in the providence of God, was to change the whole future life of Joseph and his family. It had to do with Pharaoh's dream and the results of Joseph's interpretation of Pharaoh's dream. In his dream, Pharaoh was standing by the river Nile, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 sleek, fat cows, and they fed in the tall grass nearby. And behold, 7 other cows, thin and famished, came up after them out of the river, and stood by the other cows on the river bank. And the 7 thin, famished cows ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. And Pharaoh awoke. And Pharaoh fell asleep again and dreamed a second time. And behold, 7 ears of good plump grain came up on one stalk. And behold, 7 empty ears belighted, which means damaged or ruined, by the east wind sprang up after them. And the 7 thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. But in the morning his spirit was troubled, and he sent for all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but none of them could interpret it to the king. Then the chief butler addressed Pharaoh, saying, I remember my faults this day. And he proceeded to tell Pharaoh how Joseph had rightly interpreted the dreams which he and the chief baker had dreamed in the prison. Then Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. After shaving him and changing his clothes, Joseph came into Pharaoh's presence. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have had a dream, and none of my wise men can interpret it. And it has been reported to me that you can interpret dreams. Joseph humbly replied, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Then Pharaoh related the twofold dream to Joseph. When he had finished, Joseph said, The dream of Pharaoh is really good, is really one. God has made known to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one. The 7 thin and famished cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blighted by the east wind are also 7 years of famine, which means a time when there is no food for a long while, causing starvation. It is as I have said. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. There will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. But after them there will arise 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will consume the land, and plenty will be unknown in the land by reason of that famine which shall follow. For it shall be very grievous. Need help with any typing document types? Give You Bring It, I'll Type It a try. You Bring It, I'll Type It. Typing help with any document and office services. Located 35 East Main Street, Suite 101, Hornwall, Tennessee. The number to call is 931-698-4806. You can also send an email, youbringitilltypeit@gmail.com. Also, visit the website, youbringitilltypeit.weebly.com. And also, go and like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/youbringitilltypeit. Again, typing help with any documents and office services for your business and your personal needs. Office hours are Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Cheryl Secrest is the owner and operator. Then Joseph counseled Pharaoh, saying, Now therefore let Pharaoh choose a man discreet, sensible, and caring, and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the crop of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of those good years to come, and lay up grain under the authority of Pharaoh, and let them store it away in the cities as a reserve supply for the land of Egypt against the 7 years of famine which are to come, so that the land may not perish as a result of the famine. This advice seemed good to Pharaoh and to all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, "Can we find such a man as Joseph, in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has shown all this to you, it is evident that there is none so discreet and wise as you are. Therefore, I shall put you in charge of my house, and all my people shall be ruled by your command. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." Then Pharaoh officially said to Joseph, "Behold, I have made you ruler over all the land of Egypt." And Pharaoh took his ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in robes of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him ride in his second chariot, which is a two-wheeled cart drawn by horses. And they cried before him, "Bow the knee." Thus Pharaoh made Joseph a prince over all Egypt. We'll be right back. If you need your business ads announced or events announcements, call E.M.A.N, Effectively Making a Noise, the podcast. We can announce your events and also do business ads, and we're offering a special right now. You get one free ad from the right today through December the 10th. One free ad of advertisement for your business. Once again, that's E.M.A.N, Effectively Making a Noise, which is the podcast that you are listening to right now when you're hearing the Bible story reading. Check me out on Facebook, www.facebook.com/E.M.A.N Radio Chatter. Hours are Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Podcast host is Cheryl Secrest. In addition to Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I am Pharaoh, and without your approval no man shall lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt." And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphenath-Paneah, which means the giver of the nourishment of life. And Pharaoh gave him in marriage Asenth, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. Joseph was 30 years old when he began to serve the king of Egypt. He went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. During the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth abundantly, and Joseph stored away in every city the food from the fields around it. And he stored away so much grain that he stopped keeping a record of it, for it was like the sand of the sea, could not be measured. Before the years of famine came, Asnath bore Joseph 2 sons. Joseph called the firstborn Manasseh, meaning making to forget. For God, he said, has made me forget all my toil and hardship, and all my father's house. He called the second Ephraim, for God has caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction, which means pain, suffering, and trouble. The 7 years of plenty in the land of Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began, just as Joseph had said. There was famine everywhere, but in the land of Egypt there was bread. When all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said to all the Egyptians, "Go to Joseph, and what he says you must do." Thus, when the famine had spread throughout the land, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe, which means hard to stand, in the land of Egypt. People from other countries came to Egypt to Joseph to buy grain, because the famine was severe in their lands also. Thus Joseph's wise plan of food conservation saved the lives of thousands of people. The end. Peace.